Is China's economic miracle unraveling? After years of enviable growth, China now faces massive obstacles.
For years, China's rise seemed unstoppable. A nation that turned poverty into prosperity and built a global economic powerhouse in just a few decades. But now the cracks are impossible to ignore. From youth unemployment and a crumbling real estate market to an aging population, several factors are straining its future prospects. So is this the end of China's economic miracle? Or will the Communist Party once again rewrite the rules of the global economy? And if China's growth truly slows, what ripple effects could shake the world? Let's dive into the rise, the cracks, and the uncertain future of the world's most extraordinary economic story. Chapter 1. The Birth of a Miracle. In the late 1970s, China was a predominantly agrarian society, struggling with the aftermath of Mao Zedong's policies, including the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, which had left the nation impoverished and economically stagnant. Recognizing the urgent need for change, Deng Xiaoping initiated a series of transformative economic reforms in 1978, marking the beginning of China's Second Revolution. Deng's strategy centered on opening up China to the global market and introducing market-oriented reforms. A pivotal move was the establishment of Special Economic Zones, SEZs, with Shenzhen being the most notable example. These zones were designed to attract foreign investment by offering tax incentives and more flexible economic policies, effectively serving as testing grounds for capitalism within a socialist framework. The impact of these reforms was immense. China transitioned from a rural, agrarian economy to an urban, industrial powerhouse. Millions of people migrated from the countryside to cities, fueling rapid industrialization and urbanization. This shift not only modernized China's economy, but also lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty. The economic transformation is evident in China's GDP per capita, which increased from approximately $200 in 1980 to over $12,600 in 2023. This remarkable growth reflects an average annual increase of about 9%, showcasing China's rapid development over the past few decades. When compared to other economic miracles, China's growth is unparalleled. Japan and South Korea experienced significant economic booms post-World War II, with annual GDP growth rates of around 10% during their peak periods. However, China's sustained high growth rate over a more extended period, coupled with the sheer scale of its population, sets it apart as a unique case in economic history. Deng Xiaoping's reforms revitalized China's economy while also redefining its position on the global stage. By embracing elements of the free enterprise system and encouraging foreign investment, China embarked on a path that would lead it to become the world's second-largest economy, profoundly influencing global trade and economics. This period of transformation laid the foundation for China's economic miracle, demonstrating how strategic policy shifts and openness to global markets can drive rapid development and elevate a nation from poverty to prosperity. Chapter 2. Signs of Strain. However, China's economic landscape is now exhibiting signs of strain, particularly among its youth. In August 2024, the unemployment rate for individuals aged 16 to 24 reached 18.8%, the highest level that year. This alarming statistic highlights the challenges young Chinese face in securing employment, leading many to seek the perceived stability of civil service positions. A record 3.4 million candidates applied for government jobs in 2024, despite diminishing job security in the public sector. The intense 996 inches work culture, working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, prevails in many private companies, contributing to burnout and disillusionment among young professionals. This demanding schedule leaves little room for personal life, exacerbating mental health issues and prompting public outcry. Additionally, there's a major mismatch between education and employment opportunities. Despite the expansion of higher education, the job market has not kept pace, resulting in high unemployment rates among degree holders. A United Nations report indicates that youth with higher education qualifications in developing countries face unemployment rates 2 to 3 times higher than their peers in developed nations. But that's just the beginning. The real estate sector, once the foundation of China's economic growth, is now facing a severe crisis. Overbuilding has led to the emergence of ghost cities, with nearly 100 million apartment units remaining unoccupied. This oversupply, driven by speculative investments and demographic challenges, has caused property values to plummet. Major developers like Evergrande and Country Garden have defaulted on substantial debts, exemplifying the industry's instability. Evergrande, for instance, was ordered to liquidate in January 2024 after failing to present a viable restructuring plan. As a result, the societal impact is profound, as many middle-class families have their wealth tied up in properties that are now difficult to sell, eroding financial security and consumer confidence. On the international front, China's export-driven economy is encountering significant challenges. Trade tensions, particularly with the United States, have led to increased tariffs affecting Chinese exports. Moreover, China has faced accusations of dumping green energy products, such as solar panels, into global markets at unfairly low prices, prompting further trade restrictions. In response, Western nations are actively diversifying their supply chains to reduce dependence on Chinese manufacturing. This shift is evident in the global realignment of trade partnerships and the relocation of manufacturing bases to other countries, impacting China's export volumes and economic growth. These interconnected issues paint a troubling picture of an economy under strain. But beneath these challenges lies a deeper, long-term threat: China's shifting demographics and the ticking time bomb of its aging population. As the workforce shrinks and the nation struggles with the legacy of its one-child policy, the question remains: can China adapt before this demographic crisis becomes its greatest hurdle? Chapter 3: The Demographic Time Bomb. China's demographic landscape is undergoing a huge transformation, with significant implications for its future. The nation's population declined for the second consecutive year in 2024, shrinking by approximately 2.08 million people from 2023, bringing the total to around 1.409 billion. This marked the largest population drop in decades, signaling the aggravating effects of long-term policies such as the one-child rule and evolving social dynamics. And the projections for 2025 suggest the downward trend is likely to accelerate, with fewer births anticipated than the 9.56 million recorded in 2023, a stark contrast to the 18 million births per year seen in the 1970s. This population decline coincides with an aging society. By the end of 2023, individuals aged 60 and above constituted 21.1% of the population, equating to nearly 297 million people, while those aged 65 and older made up 15.4%. By 2035, this age group is projected to exceed 400 million, representing over 30% of the population. The implications are far-reaching, with a shrinking working-age population unable to sustain the economic engine that has driven China's growth for decades. The legacy of the one-child policy, which spanned from 1980 to 2015, is now very visible. While the policy successfully curbed population growth, it inadvertently created a demographic time bomb. The ratio of working-age individuals to retirees is shrinking rapidly. By 2050, for every retiree, there will be only 1.5 working individuals, a dramatic decline from the 5-to-1 ratio seen in 2000. This demographic shift places immense pressure on China's pension system and social services. The retirement age reform, set to begin in 2025, will gradually raise the statutory retirement age for men from 60 to 63 over 15 years, while women in manual labor jobs will see their retirement age rise from 50 to 55. And on top of that, the minimum number of years required to qualify for pensions will increase from 15 to 20 by 2030. However, addressing these challenges is not straightforward. China's shrinking workforce not only impacts economic productivity, but also limits the nation's ability to fund its extensive social programs. Despite raising the retirement age, concerns remain about whether these measures will suffice. Workers over 50 often face difficulties in adapting to new technologies, creating a potential mismatch between job requirements and available labor. In this context, automation emerges as both a potential solution and a looming challenge. On one hand, automation technologies could fill labor shortages caused by a declining workforce, particularly in manufacturing and service industries. China already leads the world in industrial robotics, with a density of 322 robots per 10,000 workers as of 2024, far outpacing global averages. These advancements could mitigate some of the economic strain from workforce reductions. Yet automation brings its own set of problems. Increased reliance on robots may deepen the socioeconomic divide between urban and rural regions, where access to such technology is uneven. Additionally, fears of job displacement could worsen existing unemployment concerns, especially for middle-aged workers who may lack the skills needed to transition to roles that complement automation. Balancing the integration of technology with the preservation of employment opportunities remains one of China's most pressing challenges. And so, as a result of China's demographic dilemma, the nation's future hinges on its ability to reform social systems, utilize the potential of automation responsibly, and adapt to a fundamentally altered economic situation. Whether these measures can successfully counterbalance the demographic headwinds remains a critical question. Chapter 4: Environmental and Energy Pressures. However, demographics aren't China's only challenge. Its environmental and energy challenges add another layer of complexity. China's rapid industrialization has propelled it to the forefront of global economic powerhouses, but this development has come with significant environmental costs. The nation faces severe pollution, water scarcity, and deforestation challenges, all consequences of its swift economic ascent. In response, China has emerged as a global leader in renewable energy, striving to balance economic growth with environmental sustainability. The environmental degradation resulting from China's industrial boom is evident in various forms. Air pollution remains a critical issue, with major cities frequently engulfed in smog. Despite efforts to improve air quality, the 2024 Environmental Performance Index ranked China 168th out of 180 countries for ozone exposure, indicating persistent challenges. Water scarcity is another pressing concern. China's agricultural production relies heavily on just 7% of its land area, predominantly in northern regions, severely affected by land degradation. This degradation threatens to render these areas uninhabitable, exacerbating food security issues. But it doesn't end there. Deforestation and desertification further worsen environmental challenges. Research indicates that 27.4% of the country has undergone desertification, affecting about 400 million people. This process degrades soil content, increases erosion, and limits natural vegetation, undermining agricultural productivity. In response to these environmental challenges, China has made significant strides in renewable energy development. By the end of March 2024, the nation's installed renewable energy capacity reached 1.585 billion kilowatts, representing a year-on-year growth of 26% and accounting for 52.9% of the total installed capacity nationwide. Solar energy has been a focal point of China's renewable strategy. In 2024, China increased its solar output by 44%, accounting for 41% of global solar generation. This expansion highlights China's commitment to leading the global renewable energy sector. Wind energy has also seen substantial growth. China's wind capacity expansion is expected to double between 2024 and 2030, compared with 2017 to 2023, driven by policy changes concerning auction design, permitting, and grid connection. Despite these advancements, balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability remains a complex challenge. Coal continues to play a significant role in China's energy mix. In May 2024, coal accounted for 53% of electricity generation, a record low yet still indicative of substantial reliance on fossil fuels. The Chinese government has emphasized energy security, leading to increased coal production. In 2023, coal production reached a record high, reflecting the ongoing emphasis on coal in China's energy strategy. However, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Climate change presents additional risks to China's long-term stability. Rising sea levels and resource shortages threaten coastal cities and could exacerbate existing environmental challenges. Addressing these risks requires a comprehensive approach that integrates climate resilience into economic planning. The nation's ability to balance economic growth with environmental sustainability will therefore be crucial in determining its future trajectory. But as China addresses environmental concerns, its evolving trade priorities are reshaping its global influence. Chapter 5: Globalization in Retreat. As China's economic landscape evolves, the retreat of globalization presents both challenges and opportunities. The nation's previous growth, heavily reliant on global trade, is now adapting to shifting dynamics. In the first 10 months of 2024, China's foreign trade reached approximately $5.05 trillion, marking a 5.2% year-on-year increase. Exports rose by 6.7% to $2.89 trillion, while imports grew by 3.2% to $2.09 trillion US dollars. This growth is partly attributed to China's strengthening economic ties with the global South. Trade between China and ASEAN countries grew by 8.1% in the first 2 months of 2024, making up 15% of China's overall trade. Additionally, China's trade with countries participating in the Belt and Road Initiative reached 15.21 trillion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 6.3%, accounting for 47.1% of the total trade in the first 3 quarters of 2024. In response to the changing global trade environment, China is pivoting towards high-quality growth sectors, including semiconductors, green technology, and artificial intelligence, AI. The semiconductor industry, in particular, is set for significant expansion. China's total silicon capacity has risen from 310 million square inches, MSCI, in 2018, to an anticipated 631 MSI in 2024, with projections to reach 875 MSI by 2029. This growth is supported by increased spending on wafer fabrication equipment, which has jumped from $11 billion in 2018 to nearly $30 billion in 2023. Moreover, China is accelerating AI innovation to empower high-tech manufacturing. In the first 2 months of 2024, high-tech manufacturing saw a 7.5% year-on-year increase in added value, marking 3 consecutive months of accelerated growth. This focus on AI is further exemplified by companies like Baidu, Tencent, and SenseTime, which are leading in AI research, particularly in natural language processing, autonomous driving, and machine learning. China's commitment to green technology is also evident. The country has become a global leader in clean energy innovation, from solar panels to electric mobility. Companies like BYD and NIO are at the forefront of electric vehicle production, contributing to China's position as a major player in the global clean energy market. So while the decline of globalization poses challenges, by embracing innovation and strengthening ties with the global South, China aims to sustain its economic momentum in the face of global uncertainties. Chapter 6: Comparing China's future to past superpowers. As China navigates its current economic challenges, comparisons to past superpowers like Japan and the Soviet Union offer valuable insights. Japan's lost decade in the 1990s, characterized by economic stagnation and deflation following a real estate bubble burst, presents notable parallels. China's real estate sector has similarly experienced significant disturbance, with property developers like Evergrande defaulting on debts exceeding $300 billion, leading to a slowdown in economic growth. However, key differences exist. China's internal market is substantially larger, with a population of over 1.4 billion compared to Japan's 126 million during its economic peak. This vast domestic market provides a buffer against external economic shocks. Additionally, China's focus on innovation and technology, exemplified by its major investments in research and development, totaling approximately $378 billion in 2024, demonstrates a commitment to sustaining economic growth through technological advancement. In comparison, the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991 was precipitated by economic stagnation, over-centralization, and a lack of innovation. China appears to be taking proactive measures to avoid a similar fate. The government's investment in R&D has been steadily increasing, reaching 2.4% of GDP in 2024, indicating a strategic emphasis on innovation. Furthermore, China is diversifying its economic sectors, with the services industry contributing approximately 54% to GDP in 2024, reflecting a shift from traditional manufacturing and agriculture. While historical comparisons provide context, China's unique economic landscape, characterized by its vast internal market and strategic investments in innovation, suggests a distinct trajectory. Nonetheless, challenges such as an aging population, environmental concerns, and geopolitical tensions persist. But the question remains, how can China turn historical challenges into opportunities for reinvention? Chapter 7: The Path Forward. Can China turn it around? China is actively reshaping its economic priorities to ensure long-term stability, focusing on leveraging its vast internal market, driving technological innovation, and maintaining political stability. Recent initiatives reveal a pivot toward addressing wealth disparities, and fostering sustainable domestic consumption. To achieve these goals, the government has expanded trade-in subsidies for appliances and digital products, offering rebates of up to 15% on qualifying purchases under 6,000 yuan. This program, introduced in 2024, aims to encourage middle-class spending, particularly in rural and less developed regions, where purchasing power has lagged behind urban centers. Investment in technological leadership remains a cornerstone of China's strategy. The semiconductor sector, for example, has seen a surge in domestic production, with China's silicon wafer capacity projected to exceed 875 million square inches by 2029. This growth is boosted by increased funding for R&D, with allocations exceeding 2.4% of GDP in 2024. In parallel, China's push for artificial intelligence has enabled it to lead in key areas like autonomous driving, language processing, and smart manufacturing. This innovation is aimed at boosting domestic industry and also reducing reliance on foreign technologies. Decarbonization efforts further highlight China's forward-looking approach. As of 2024, the nation accounted for 1/3 of global clean energy investments, with solar and wind capacity growing at record rates. Beyond energy production, China is investing in energy storage technologies, positioning itself as a global leader in renewable infrastructure. On the political front, the government's centralized control remains pivotal in shaping its economic trajectory. However, this approach must navigate the fine line between stability and overregulation. While centralized decision-making enables swift policy implementation, critics highlight risk of market suppression and reduced innovation. By targeting domestic consumption, fostering high-tech industries, and addressing environmental imperatives, China is charting a course that could redefine its economic future. Yet the success of these strategies will depend on maintaining a delicate balance between state intervention and market-driven growth. From struggling with demographic shifts and environmental pressures to redefining its role in a rapidly changing global economy, the stakes couldn't be higher. The choices China makes now will not only determine its future, but could reshape the global economic landscape for generations to come. What do you think lies ahead for China's economic miracle? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this exploration insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating videos.